on KBTX.
Bryan City leaders met for council this past Tuesday and had a busy night.
Yeah, here to give us an update about a couple of things they talked about is Mayor Pro Tem James Edge. Councilman, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hey, let me start by asking you about that development out near Midtown across from Hensel Park. We've seen the renderings, jaw-dropping development that we're looking at there. Can you update? I know the council said they're going to give a little bit more time to the developer to come up with some final plans for that before breaking ground. Can you update us real quick on that? And what's the message still for those residents in that area who really aren't on board with it just yet? What do you say to those folks?
Well, first of all, the development itself, it's going to be a long-term project. That project is in the very early stages right now. We don't have a specific developer right now, but what we do have is we have a specific area with a vision, and we know that developers are going to be looking for us, looking for opportunities. We've seen that in other areas of Northgate, wherein there might be a half an acre or 3/4 of an acre, and the developers are just itching to try to find those properties within walking distance to Texas A&M. So we're going to have a much larger footprint that we're going to be able to offer, which is going to give us the opportunity to develop a much larger, much more planned development. When it comes to the folks that are living in those areas, to be honest with you, the great majority of those houses are actually owned by people out of town. They've been rent houses. A number of the properties that we've already acquired, or that the Bryan Commerce and Development has acquired, they were either not currently rented, or they were in a bad state of affairs. They were dilapidated. So for the most part, we've had most of the landowners and property owners over there have been very welcoming to our overtures to be involved in this project.
I know that we are in those early stages of planning, but looking at that timeline, do you guys have a time or date that you guys are expected to see that dirt start to move on that project?
To be honest with you, at this point, we don't. We are, like I say, we are still, or when I say we, the Bryan Commerce and Development Board has been working with landowners in that area. We've got an agreement with a local developer that has been in charge of trying to sort of reach out to the property owners and to sort of develop a plan to a high density, multi-use development. We've seen the renderings, but as far as the timeline, in reality, we're talking years, not months. We will likely see some interest that will take place in the coming, I would say, probably the year. But as far as actually ground being broken, I would anticipate that probably be several years out still.
The news about the proposed sewer line that College Station wanted to put in the Rosemary neighborhood. Any big new developments on that here in recent weeks or month or so?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's no new developments as far as I know. As I understand, the City of College Station is planning on bringing that up in their December meeting, or at a December meeting, based upon what I've heard from several council members and I think the mayor of College Station. We're hopeful, we're continually hopeful that from our perspective, they'll do the right thing. I think the City of Bryan has reached out. We've worked with the City of College Station. I know our city managers have been communicating regularly, and I'm hopeful that we can come to an agreement where in both cities will feel like they've won.
I know that we've been having lots of conversations about medians along Texas Avenue. Business owners have come forward saying they're losing customers over this. TxDOT says the medians are needed. What is the city doing to help these businesses who say they're struggling?
Well, we've been working with both businesses, and we've been working with TxDOT. The mayor and myself have met with TxDOT several times. We're working to try to mitigate any of the really severe problems. We've been successful in working to get a couple of different lights put in. Now we'll see construction on those commence fairly soon. In a couple of areas where it was a long stretch without an ability to turn around, without an ability to make a left turn onto Texas. So we're going to see a couple of different lights that will be the control lights that will be on Texas Avenue. We're also going to look at some other areas where we might look at U-turn lanes. TxDOT, unfortunately, because of Texas Avenue in Bryan is only 2 lanes wide on each side, so negotiating a U-turn is much more difficult than it is in College Station. So it requires something they call a loon, which is effectively it's a piece of a parcel of property that has to be taken out that would allow that wider turn. In order to do those, TxDOT actually has to acquire additional right-of-way, which unfortunately they did not do prior to this project getting started. So it's going to be a long-term process, but we're working both with the businesses and with TxDOT to try to make it as easy and as painless as possible.
I think I got about 15 seconds left. Lights on tomorrow night, downtown Bryan.
Lights on. We're all going to be there. I'm told Santa Claus is going to be there. It's going to be a great night. The weather's going to be perfect. I know myself, the mayor, and a lot of folks will be there, and we're going to look forward to, there's going to be a photo booth, there's going to be live music. It's just going to be a great fun time in Bryan.
We look forward to seeing you there.
All right, well, thank you.
Mr. James Edge, the Pro Tem and City Council Member for City of Bryan, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.